Griffiths Grandparents found guilty today. It's the verdict that has left a community completely stunned. Today, after a 5-week trial at Mold Crown Court, Michael and Kerry Ives were found guilty of murdering their own 2-year-old grandson, Ives-Griffiths. The very people who were supposed to protect him were the ones responsible for his death. So today, we're going to break down the case against them, remember the little boy who went through unimaginable pain, and look at the wave of anger and heartbreak this has caused. It's so important to remember that before all this, Ives-Griffiths was just a little boy. Photos from before he lived with his grandparents show a happy kid with chubby cheeks and bright eyes. But that's a world away from the child he became in their care. In the weeks before he died, he was described as a small, diminished, withdrawn, malnourished, unsteady, and broken little boy. When paramedics were finally called to their home in August 2021, they found a 2-year-old who was dangerously dehydrated and severely underweight. His tiny body was covered in 40 different bruises and marks, and he had a catastrophic head injury, so severe that experts compared it to the force of a high-speed car crash. He was rushed to the hospital but died 2 days later. The prosecution made it clear Ethan's final weeks were filled with nothing but distress, pain, and misery. Over the 5-week trial, the prosecution laid out a story of pure cruelty. The argument was that Ethan was a target of what was called casual brutality. The court was shown disturbing CCTV footage from outside the house, where you could see Michael Ives carrying his tiny grandson by the top of his arm. The prosecution's case really boiled down to this. The fatal head injury was deliberate, and it happened right before Ethan collapsed on August 14, 2021. The only other adults with him in that room were his grandparents. Both Michael and Kerry Ives swore that nothing had happened, but medical experts testified that the injury couldn't have been an accident. It was the result of deliberate, violent force, which might have included forceful shaking. The prosecutor, Caroline Reese KC, argued that the grandparents made a pact of silence, refusing to tell the truth about what happened in those horrifying moments. She posed a chilling question to the jury. What other motive could there be to lie about the death of their own grandson? In the end, the jury agreed. They found both grandparents guilty of murder and of child cruelty. Ethan's mother, Shannon Ives, was also found guilty of child cruelty and of causing or allowing his death. This verdict has absolutely rocked the community in Flintshire and far beyond. The reaction online has been a mix of pure heartbreak and rage. People are calling the case unthinkable and devastating, with so much love being sent to the memory of Ethan, and total condemnation for his grandparents. Naturally, a tragedy like this makes everyone ask the hard questions about child protection. How could this level of cruelty happen inside a family, the one place a child is supposed to be safe? The guilty verdict brings some accountability, but it's also made people demand that we all do more to protect vulnerable children, so that nothing like this can ever happen again. So the verdict is in. A dark, disturbing chapter is closed, and it's been confirmed that 2-year-old Ives-Griffiths was murdered by his own grandparents. It's justice in a way, for a life that was cut short so brutally. But the big questions still hang in the air. How does a happy, smiling little boy end up suffering this way? And how did the systems that were supposed to keep him safe fail so badly? All we can do now is remember a child who deserved a life full of love, but got one full of pain. It's a truly gut-wrenching reminder that sometimes the worst things can happen in the places you'd least expect. What are your thoughts on the verdict in this heartbreaking case? Share your feelings in the comments below. But please, let's keep it respectful for Ethan's memory. In memory of Ives-Griffiths,